We're back with head football coach Mike Clark. Eagles coming off a loss at Washington and Lee. For the second time this year, you guys faced sort of an option offense that would really require the defense to scheme well and really maintain their discipline. And sort of what did the team struggle with, but what do you think the team improved on, and what's promising going forward?
Well, I mean, from an option perspective, we didn't improve on much. I think it was a difficult game. I think playing young kids that a lot of times a young guy will just rely on his athleticism to bail him out of situations. When you're playing a team that gets downhill as fast as they do with their offense and running as efficiently, it demands tremendous discipline. And, it wasn't something we had. It was one of those games where it really quickly kind of turned into that track meet mentality. We made a little run at them there at the end of the second quarter. Even though we went down at the half down, we took a little momentum into the half, haven't gotten the last two scores. But anytime you get in those games that are like tennis matches on who's going to break serve, two critical plays there in the third quarter. We had a turnover, through an interception that we shouldn't have thrown. And then when we were down there late after a pretty substantial drive that took a lot of time, took a lot of clock, and we didn't convert on the fourth down play at the 4. At that point, I really think our bench just kind of, how much? What's this going to be about? Because we knew the clock was going to work against us with the offense that we were playing there in the fourth quarter, and it did.
No, I did think it was impressive. The game at one point looked like it could have gotten away in the first half, and the team responded, forced a turnover, got 2 touchdowns in the first half. It got right back in it. It just, unfortunately, the first 5 minutes of the third quarter, touchdown, turnover, touchdown for them. But
yeah, put us behind, and then, like I said, not converting on that long drive kind of sealed the deal. So, in the fourth quarter, it really just kind of became about the spread. The tough thing about games like that is that, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, we've got some tremendous off-season study we need to do, to show our kids and let them understand the value of discipline as a defensive player, as well as athleticism. But you had to switch gears very quickly. It's been a big challenge for our defense. The last 3 weeks, this week included going down to Hampden-Sydney, they're facing 3 very prolific offenses that are all very, very different. And we had to very quickly switch gears and try to get into another language with our defensive kids and have them prepared for a team that traditionally is very creative on the offensive side of the ball. They have a Division I tailback running for him who's a freshman, and he's a kid that belongs there, but he's not. He's at Hampton-Sydney, so we have our work cut out for us. I think they're going to see the ground yardage at W&L game and assume they can maybe get it on us just a different way. So big challenge, but by the same token, offensively, we have to score points. Not getting enough explosion plays, and if you're going to hold the ball for 32 minutes, you better have more than 23 points to show for it, or 37 minutes, whatever we had down there. That's a pretty big stat that isn't matched by a scoreboard, and we need to do that better on the offensive side of the ball.
Well, Hampton-Sydney, a very good team, perennial contender in recent years. That was probably your best performance last year. They came in here 22nd ranked in the country, and you beat them 34-9. What went right for your team there? Is there anything you can translate to this year's matchup?
Well, I think we made big plays. If you remember, Jacob Wright had a long run at the tailback position. We converted a 54-yard double move play to Jeff Moore on the outside that set up a touchdown. Keith had a great touchdown on a pop pass. So really, it gets down when you win football games on the offensive side of the ball. It's really about explosion plays. It's tough in this day and age just to say we're going to grind it. There's not a lot of teams that can go out and beat people 4 yards at a time, particularly what offenses are doing on the other side of the ball when they're out there. And I think we have to look for those things. I think we have to get that production, and then certainly, as we've proven time and time again this year, a year ago, we had 11 turnovers, and we've almost doubled that 7 games into the season, and we can't do that. We have to be secure, we have to be efficient on the offensive side of the ball, and that'll be a challenge, moving forward right here against a team that has a lot at stake. They're right in the thick of the race that we got bumped out of last week, but we still got a lot to play for.
Yeah, well, maybe playing spoiler could be the answer to my next question. You talked after the Washington Lee game about how the team probably is out of the race now and you need to find sort of something to play for, something for those seniors to make their last few games memorable. What is that mindset and what's the challenge
well,
there?
I don't think you play well to make other people miserable. No question. We're going to beat Hampden-Sydney. That's a game that they're expecting to win right now, and they're going to put a lot of emphasis on. I think you play for each other. It's not to make somebody else feel bad. It's to make you feel good in the bond that you really have with your teammates, people that have sacrificed with you. But hey, college football matches life in a lot of ways. You got to readjust goals. New goals still have great value, and I do. I think to go out and as I was asked early in the week by somebody in the media, who's going to be the toughest group of your team to keep? And I said, to get active. I said, well, I need to keep them all active. For us to win, as we've shown time and time again, we need to be willing to hit on all cylinders. And so my hope is that our seniors, as they wind this thing down, they do it in the right way. And as those of us that are going to come back and chase it again, hey, let's finish with a bang. You don't get to play enough football at this level, okay, to waste games. And that was a commitment we made to each other after the Gettysburg game, where we feel like we wasted an opportunity, and we're not planning to waste an opportunity here on the road, as difficult as it might be down against Hampton-Sydney.
You mentioned on the road, fourth time in 5 weeks against good teams. You'd be happy to have the road section of your season over with? Or?
It is. I mean, it's frequent bus miles. I don't know what those get you, whether they give me a free trip on Greyhound or not. But in the end, the field's going to be the same length, and it shouldn't be a factor. I mean, good teams have to win in different environments. We've proven we can play good football on the road. What I want to try to do is bottle what we did that second half in Shenandoah, where every cylinder played productively and we saw what kind of team we're capable of. As my dad always said, he always reminded me when I was growing up, he said, be careful about hanging around people that have nothing to lose. And that's kind of what we are. We're a team that can go out there and play loosely. I stole a quote from Paul Johnson. I heard him interviewed after the Alabama game. He said his team had lost 5 games in a row. They said, how'd you pull it off? He said, hey, I just told our kids, nobody expects anything from us. How about let's work hard, play hard, and see what happens? And that's what we're going to try to do down there on Saturday.
All right, check online for our media links. And if you're a Bridgewater fan going, we'll have our alumni tailgate at this game, so check that out before as well.